Cheers. Thank you for having me.
Cheers. So here we are at Between Two Pints. This is my prototype episode of an interview series where I interview people between two pints. Today, we're doing a special one as well. We'll be doing Strongbow at the request of Todd.
I'm not a beer fan.
And I'm okay with that. Yeah. That's totally fine. Strongbow is great. And
ease into it, you know?
The first thing we're going to do is, Todd, why are you on the show?
We've been friends for a while, and we've been friends sort of through filmmaking. You're doing your show. I do my own. I have my YouTube channel where I try to put out as much content as I can. So that kind of gets us here. The big thing I'm working on right now is the Ghostbusters of British Columbia web series.
What's that all about?
Well, the fan film community for Ghostbusters is kind of like, there's always like the costume building, the convention stuff, people doing charities and things like that. But there's a handful of groups around the world that do fan films, and that was being a film guy. That's what I always wanted to do when I got into the costuming stuff.
You want to do the proton packs?
I want to do the proton packs. I want to do it I like the movie as a fan, but I also like it as a filmmaker. So I wanted to use it as an exercise for me to stretch my filmmaking muscles, right? So we finally got around to writing a first season of what we want to do. We've got a few episodes out now.
How many episodes do you think the first season will be if everything goes well?
We've got it planned out. We have a 6-episode arc, so including the prologue and occasionally we'll have mini episodes in between. It'll be 1 to 6, and then we do have ideas for a second season if it goes that far, which I hope it does, because it's really an exercise of what we can do with what we have. So I've got my own kit, and it's just whoever's house we can get or whoever we can ask for a favor, as far as getting locations or actors or whatever. But it's been going well so far. It's been getting good results. The thing that's really fun about it, too, is the community. There's something called the Ghostbusters Fan Film Cinematic Universe.
Awesome. Where
different franchises have different shows or movies or whatever, and they'll reference other characters or have cameos from other characters.
That's so cool.
So there's a kind of a loose rule structure where all of these stories potentially work within the same universe, which is just kind of fun, you know? It adds an extra level of creativity to it.
That is really cool, Todd. Now, you said you're also a filmmaker and videographer. I know you do a little VFX on your side.
I do.
What's your part going to be in this? I know you've also been in front of the camera. So
I have.
What do you I like to be behind the camera, but I also understand people like to be in front. What are you going to be in front of the camera?
I am in front of the camera. I hesitate to call myself the lead, but I am kind of the lead.
Well, at least you'll know you'll be on set.
But it also adds its own challenge, because if you watch the show, you'll know that pretty much every shot with me in it is a lock off, because I just plant the tripod. All right, am I in focus? Just dial that. All right, okay, roll. But no, how it starts out, it kind of mirrored where I was at in my life at the moment, where I was ready to quit my job at a seaplane company, which shall not be mentioned. You can figure it out. And I was looking for something to do. I was looking for the thing I wanted to pursue. And so we use our own names as our characters. So we're just sort of ourselves dialed up to 11.
So are you Todd or are you Whalen?
No, well, I'm Todd Whalen in the show.
Yeah, but do you use your last names?
No, well, we will. I mean, we will eventually, because our last names are going to be on the uniforms and things like that. But it starts out with my friend Ryan comes over to cheer me up because I've been out of work for a month and I don't know what to do with I'm 30 years old and I don't know what to do with my life. And that's how we sort of fall into the idea of being Ghostbusters. We never really entertained the idea of a career path of doing that. And it's sort of after stumbling into it, we kind of have to then unpack sort of what it means to be a Ghostbuster. How do you get started in a way? In the movies, they were pioneering it. They were inventing it.
You'd be more of a franchise.
Exactly. So we get a starter kit, and you start out with this gear, and there's a manual. So there's a corporate structure to it, and so it follows the same pattern as the films, but in kind of a different context where it is a business like Coca-Cola or Starbucks that's existed for decades, but we have to then make it our own.
That's awesome. Okay, I'm a camera guy, obviously, so one quick question before we move on to some more fun questions. Mm-hmm. What are you going to shoot this on?
5D Mark III is the camera that I have.
And that's a Canon DSLR camera?
Canon DSLR.
Full frame? Mm-hmm. That sounds like... Now, are you using anything special on your firmware?
I am using Magic Lantern, and I'll tell you what, I'm not using RAW because it's kind of a pain. I want to try some RAW stuff. It's kind of a pain in the post-production because there's a lot more steps that... So...
You don't need to defend
Yeah.
me not using RAW. I know exactly what you mean. I even on my Blackmagic, I shoot ProRes. And
Yeah.
my hard drives, man. Like, I don't have a RAID bay to deal with this. So.
Right. So the Magic Lantern, where it really helps is focus peaking.
Yes.
That is a huge help.
We actually use that a lot in season
Yeah.
3 of Standard Action. Our camera team was really hesitant to use Magic Lantern, and I was like, I'll just put it on, and I won't tell you, but I'll turn on focus peaking and see how.
What are these dots?
That
They're
means you're
awesome.
in focus. Yeah.
Focus peaking and zebras, and then the guide bars.
I love zebras. I'm a little more of an antelope person myself, but
Yeah, no, I can understand that. What else? I also do. I really want to use. I have a Cinemorph anamorphic looks filter that I haven't used in an episode yet, but I want to do some optical goodness with that.
Okay, here we go, Todd.
All
I
right.
got some exciting questions. People, this should be a little bit more fun. We've had one pint already. We're halfway through our second pint. We got about 5 minutes left in this interview, maybe. I'm looking at the camera. Ooh, we got less than that. Okay. You are given an unlimited budget to make a Ghostbusters movie, but you have to do a crossover with another franchise. What would you pick? And give me a brief synopsis of the film. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, I think this would only actually work as an animated movie, unfortunately, but especially with the talk of the all the Sony properties, Spider-Man, Ghostbusters.
Pretend they love you. Pretend you
no, they
saved
do.
their
They do.
children. Yeah.
They do. That's fine. But there's a lot of like turmoil about like how they're treating their franchises, kind of thing, and Marvel seems to be the one that is doing everything right. I would do an animated feature of the Avengers meets the Ghostbusters. So you've got like the cube. The cube is a doorway to the other edge of space, right? Well, a door's open from both sides. Egon Spengler. If the door swings both ways, we just need to reverse the particle flow to close the gate. They needed the Ghostbusters to cross the streams. And how awesome would it be to have Egon Spengler and Tony Stark bantering tech stuff?
And Bruce Banner.
Yeah. Like the battle of wits between Tony Stark and Peter Venkman, but we don't have Harold.
Egos.
Yeah. We don't have Harold Ramis anymore, so I kind of feel like it would have to be the real Ghostbusters and the animated Avengers. But I feel like there's a space god interdimensional portal story to be told where they can, you get an Iron Man suit that has like a trap in the forearm, and so they're fighting a ghost, and the Ghostbusters are holding it, and then Iron Man comes in, arc reactor, proton stream in one hand, trap opens up in the arm in the other.
Captain America, I think, would be the best trap delivery system.
Yeah.
He's very agile.
He is. Yeah. He probably would just have like hip holsters with traps. So he'd run in.
He's got the
shoot some
shield.
flips.
He's got the trap.
Yeah.
He's ready to go.
Yeah. I think that's the one.
All right. Well, that was an excellent answer, Todd, and not what I expected. But I would have gone with Men in Black.
That would have been a good one too. I think.
I've actually heard 21 Jump Street, the series, which I am hopeful. I mean, it could be terrible, but it also could be amazing.
I would watch Channing Tatum in a Ghostbusters movie.
Those guys were great.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Okay. So now. And this actually ties into your web series.
Yeah.
How would you go about preparing to be an actual Ghostbuster?
If they were real in a similar way that they were in the movies, I would probably run in the other direction.
Say you had to.
Oh, if I had to.
What thing would you do? Like physical training?
I think
you'd
you'd have to.
The books?
You know what? I think you would have to, because I actually did a bit. We when I was in Dragon Con in Atlanta last year, we did this challenge where we had to do push-ups in a proton pack as part of a scavenger hunt kind of thing. And I actually just did a video because I'm not going to Dragon Con this year, and I got first place in the scavenger hunt at the last one. So I did this video where I did chin-ups with my proton pack on. Be like, okay, everybody, you got to one-up me from last year, so get in, find a chin-up bar, do some chin-ups in a pack. But that's what I think it would be, because like, it was kind of a joke that the guys were kind of out of shape and chasing after these things, but
they'd have to be super.
You'd have to be in shape to be a Ghostbuster, I think.
How much time would you spend reading?
I don't know.
Would you be keen on would that be, or would it be more physical for you?
I think it would be physical and then doing it. Like, okay, what button do I press? All right, let me at him.
All right.
Like, figure out, I don't know. Cross the streams, it's fine. It worked twice.
It has, and it didn't destroy the world either time. So now, we got a little bit of booze left in us. Mm-hmm. So, tell me about, you also make a bitchin' Spider-Man costume.
I do.
And you talked about time-lapse, so hopefully some camera filming people are watching us. Actually, we're running short on time. Yeah, we are running very short on time, so we are going to have to cheers it up and wrap this episode up. Todd, thank you so much for joining me on Between Two Pints. I actually
It's good to be here.
I have a present for you, quickly. Oh. Is it on the ground here? Is it over there?
Oh, it might be over here.
It is. So, I make beer, and I know you don't really like beer, but I'm sure you know somebody who likes beer. So this is a brew I made myself, and the label design is made by Clancy Bundy on Fiverr.com. He's got an account, so it's the best $5 I've spent, and it's an IPA.
Oh.
It's a lovely beer. It's about 6%.
I will find it a good home.
And make sure you tell him to watch the show.
I will, for sure.
Thank you for joining me, and thank you for joining us.
Pleasure to be here. Oh, is that how it goes?
I had a lot less than
I can't do it.
You were doing so much talking.
I was.